Ivan, one of the main concerns of the market over the last couple of years has been the rapid increase in multifamily construction, the number of new units coming online. In 2015, we had something on the order of about 540 to 550,000 units under construction, which is the highest that we've seen since the early 1970s. Are we going to be able to absorb this inventory? How concerned are you about the supply situation?
We're definitely concerned, and we'll look at it in a market-specific way. But when you have over 500,000 units coming on, and you haven't seen that for many decades, you have to take note. If you combine that with a potential concern of an increase in home ownership and a decrease in rental, and any concern with wage growth in the United States, you could have a little bit of the perfect storm of a correction in the multifamily rental market.
Right. When we look across the metropolitan landscape, do you see the new supply coming online evenly, or is it tend to be more core, responding to the demand profile of the millennial?
I think what we're seeing, whether it be in Manhattan or Brooklyn or Long Island City, a huge amount of units being delivered. And there is concern. I clearly think in Brooklyn, for example, there's so many units coming on that there are projections for rent decreases. And that's the first time that has happened. Can the population absorb those new units? And most of those new units are on the expensive side. So I think the upper end of the market, what we call the A-class assets, are at risk the most. Clearly the B's and C's, where rents are lower, where you can't duplicate that product, where there's some rent stabilization factors, I think those are pretty safe. But on the upper end is where we have the most concern.
Ivan, you've described how we're at a point in the cycle, or are approaching a point in the cycle, where some of the things we've been able to take for granted over the last couple of years are changing, whether it's rent growth, asset price appreciation. For borrowers in the market, what advice would you give them for how they can best prepare for some of the potential volatility that we'll see?
First is to proceed with caution. Think through your positions. I think access to capital is going to be extremely important. I think the trends of things getting better will either flatten out. I think there will be some hiccups on assets, so people have to know how to get more capital to keep their assets going forward. I would have a lot of concern with some of the IOs that are coming off and turning into amortization loans, where there's going to be a jump in their payments and perhaps a decrease in rents. So think through your position, know that the trend's changing, and prepare yourself to have capital and have good relationships with lenders to work through your issues.